second. It is incredibly tight on this field. Less than a second separates the entire field. Red line, though, with the 1, 2, 3. We take a look at some of those who know they'll be fighting these teams later throughout the day. It is red line, our defending champions. It's Porsche Commander, our top seed. It is Williams, the last team to progress from day number 1, all going head-to-head at Fuji. A dress rehearsal, potentially, for Porsche Commander and Red Line's fight later on in the day, where they'll be taking to this circuit once more, going head-to-head. But who's going to come out on top this time? It's Siggy from Job and Bennett, and the three of them will try and control the field from the front. Rogers, though, will need the assistance of his teammates to try and get alongside. They begin the run down into the first corner, all going all over the place. It's almost 3 wide between those 2 red lines at the front as they try and assert control over the field. A big move to the inside from Caruso, though, who's firing one down the inside to try and take the lead for Porsche Commander. And it's Joshua Rogers to come through. It's 4 wide between them as they head their way to the second corner, up towards turn 3. This is a very risky endeavour for the lot of them as they send their way through. It's Sebastian Job taking over the lead of the field. He's been winless in 2025, but he's at the front now.
That's a really good job from Porsche Commander there to really send up the inside and take the fight immediately to Redline. You could not afford to let Redline settle into this race, first, second and third. It would pretty much be game over at that point. But Joshua Rogers has not had a good start at all.
No, nor is Don Blyer, nor is Daniel Pajtor. Pajtor off in the background. Blyer went off as they were going their way through 100R at turns 4 and 5. He was off the road and has dropped down the order. Beliciotis, though, has come through nicely from 12th position to 5th. On the opening lap of this race. So that's a fantastic performance from the Atlassian Williams sim racing driver, but the control that there was across the line from Team Redline has not quite shown itself in the race, courtesy of a very aggressive move coming in from Jordan Caruso.
If there's a time to do it, it's turn 1, lap 1. You just got to go for it. And I saw that they were boxing in Joshua Rogers in the centre of the track, but Caruso and Dane Warren were not having any of it. They went straight for the inside, forced the issue, and now sitting in pretty good position, second and fourth here, with lots of work to do.
We can see Charlie Collins there on the bottom right of your screen. He's got a little bit of defence coming in. He's got Jeff Rietveld right behind him. Tobias Pepper's not too far behind. It's close for the lead as well. Dane Warren will be attacking as soon as he can, but not quite this lap. Quarter of a second remains between them. Turn 1, you can make a move inside and outside. I almost tend to prefer an outside move there, if you can get it stuck. Sometimes like getting all the way around the outside is so tricky, but it just gives that inside line into 3.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you just really need to try to get your opponent out of position, you know, taking an unoptimal line. Is that the way to say it?
Go with it.
Trying to force them narrow going in so that they get a poor exit. And obviously we've got such a long straight here at Fuji into a very tight corner. It's such a good overtaking opportunity. And as you say, in or out on the way in, and then likewise, you can get the switch back on the way out, get the inside for turn 3. That's always a good place to overtake as well.
I think it's 1.5 kilometres. It's the second longest run of flat-out driving that I think we've got across the 6 tracks. The number 1, in probably not a shock to know, it's not a straight, but obviously out of the source at Spa all the way up to Lake Combe, flat out for 2 kilometres there. Here comes a look down the inside, so it's Williams. Oh, Williams on Williams. That's also Daniel Pajtor round. Got also hit by Don Blyer on the exit, but I think they were kind of sent into each other a little bit. That's a bit messy.
Yeah, just a really awkward sequence of corners there for the Williams team. Not ideal. I mean, obviously we're in a team format here. You need teammates to be working with each other, not against each other there. So as he was spinning, he was taking a couple of his teammates with him. So a bit of a disaster. They're 10th, 11th and 12th. They've got a lot of work to do from here.
Yeah, I wonder what Michael Preston will be saying in their ear. Ben Hawkins as well. You can see right-hand side of your screen on that inset. They are that one that we're zooming in on the top of your screen. That's a Williams who are struggling at the moment in this session. Sebastian Job, though, chasing down yet another victory. He has won so many times in this competition, and he's looking for yet another one. Has the highest percentage of victories of any driver on this field. Not the most amount of not the most victories in itself, but the highest percentage.
Yeah, he's so impressive. I mean, he knows what to do in this position. Sometimes it's actually harder to lead from the front because you don't have a reference, but he himself, I mean, he is pretty much the benchmark of Rennsport. He knows exactly what to do in this situation. He's practiced more than enough. He knows which brake marker balls to hit. And, you know, these guys have rehearsed this so much. The pressure from behind isn't going to really phase him too much, although that's a bit of a mistake there. And almost a nose up the inside from Dane Warren into the final sector. It looks like Sebastian Job has a bit of backup now in the form of Luke Bennett, who is caught right up to the back of Dane Warren.
And I'm really liking what I'm seeing here from Luke Bennett, someone who has effectively struggled at LAN comparatively. I think he's got 22 victories in R1 in totality. Only 2 of those have come at LAN. So he's not exactly the best poisoners, but he's looking strong today. Dane Warren, though, with 5 victories at LAN to his name, is trying to make a move for the race lead. He's closing in. He's got no assistance around him. It's 2 red lines either side of him, and it's Dane Warren going for the race lead. If he's not careful here, it could be a red line 1-2, but he's got that speed as they work their way down the straight at Fuji. Now into the first corner. A little bit of rubbing between the pair of them. Dane Warren with the outside line. They're going to be side by side up towards 3. He's trying what I said before, going around the outside of 1. He'll have the inside for turn 3. A little bit of rubbing between the pair of them. Dane Warren going into full commitment in the first corner, but Sebastian Job looks to hang on.
Yeah, that was pretty much exactly what you were talking about, getting that switchback on the way out. Didn't quite work out for him. The BMW is so muscular, just kind of using its size to muscle out the Porsche. So the order remains the same for the time being, though Dane Warren has to be very wary here of being of attacking whilst defending at the same time. He needs a bit of help. Caruso ideally needs to get onto the back of Luke Bennett to give Luke a bit of a distraction from behind. But actually, if they keep fighting like this, then that will probably happen towards the end of this lap.
Whilst they have been fighting, like you say, it's dragging in Caruso. If they do fight much harder, it could drag in Siggy, although that 2-second gap back, I mean, look, in a 10-lap race, it probably is going to come down. Siggy will be involved in his fight for the race victory at some point, you'd have to say. There has been a switch. I think Rietveld and Collins are switching for 7th and 8th position. So the BMW M Team Redline, Red Bull Sim Racing, that is quite a mouthful, is trying to take over that 7th position from Collins. We go back to that fight. Is Collins on the right-hand side, also with his teammate Joshua Rogers. Now with the BMW that'll be on the outside for the start-finish straight. That is Jeff Rietveld trying to take over the spot.
And here we have a clear example of teamwork. The 2 Porsches here from Porsche Commander trying to bump draft each other up the straight. Is this going to be a potential overtake into turn 1? He's going to look to the inside. The BMW kind of half defends it and goes actually a little bit wide. The Porsche kind of nips underneath. Bit of contact, a bit of a hip check, and that is the overtake complete.
Yeah, it was Tobias Becker that was coming in for the Atlassian Williams Sim Racing team. Of course, did pick up a few penalty points yesterday in the final race, which dropped it from 2nd to 6th. Trying to get a little bit muscly there with the driver who has the all-time most victories in R1, Joshua Rogers. Pfeffer is going to work his way through as they head their way through 100R. A little bit of contact once again between them. Williams trying to send it to the outside. Could be the up and under as well from Dom Plyer, who's feeling very, very under the weather today. He didn't show that in qualifying. He's not really showing it too much in the race. He maybe got a little bit unlucky there on the first lap, but he's trying to get himself involved in this. He just needs to wrestle his way through the day. Again, of the 6 teams in competition today, the bottom team will be out of the Esports World Cup as we see side by side between Rogers and Pfeffer still. Yeah,
great fights between the 2 of them. They've been side by side for about 8 corners now. Joshua Rogers probably not used to being in this kind of position. All the way down now in 10th after Pfeffer there eventually, after about 30 seconds of side-by-side racing, managed to get ahead. Now this final corner really does open up. It's so inviting to send one up the inside. But then probably the wise decision is to wait for this incredibly long straight, 1.5 kilometres as we say a moment ago, get in the slipstream and go for that move into the first corner.
Yeah, definitely. As we'll see that slipstream coming in. Is Joshua Rogers going to be able to work his way around now? He will look. There's also a battle a bit further up the order. This is Collins versus Belletsiotis. As he goes on the inside, maybe a little bit too deep here at the first corner. It's going to open up the opportunity for the 95 to come back to the inside. I think Belletsiotis might have the advantage heading the way down to turn 3. Good attempt, didn't quite work as Joshua Rogers fighting towards the back end of the field. This is not what Rogers was expecting to do around here. I'm sure Mac Backham, the super fan of Porsche Carrera, might not be too happy about what he's seeing from Rogers at the moment.
No, I mean, Rogers 4th out of his team at the moment. That's not normally where you'd expect to see him. Normally always towards the front. I mean, he was the lead qualifier for Porsche Commander before the race. Of course, now Dane Warren and Caruso here having to do the work, the heavy lifting for the Commander team. So the order remains the same towards the front. These guys just kind of churning away the laps. We are on lap 6 now, more than halfway through. I'm sure there's going to be another point of contention in the remaining 4 laps after this one. as these guys just, they're kind of just biding their time for the time being. We don't need to do anything just yet. We still have plenty of a gap back to 5th. So they're just going to be patient for the time being, and I'm sure it's going to bubble up in just a moment's time.
Just remembered, I went to go and check the online races that we had as well before we got here into the Esports World Cup, and one of the final races of the season was actually this. It was Redline versus Coanda versus Williams. Completely forgot about that. It was at Fuji as well. Coanda won on that occasion. Williams scored just 20 points. At the moment, they are scoring just 12 versus Redline's 55, Porsche Coanda's 41. It was 55 points which Porsche Coanda scored here when they were able to take the round victory online at this circuit. At the moment, though, it is Redline holding all the cards. That can switch very quickly. If Warren's able to get past Job and Caruso's able to get past Bennett, then it would be advantage Porsche Coanda. That's just how quickly it could switch. One slight mistake from anyone as well, and that's it. It can be a big slip up that can throw the cat amongst the pigeons.
Yeah, definitely. Let's not forget, of course, that any overtake you get on your opponent, you get more points. They also get less points, of course. So any overtake is crucial. The swing in points is very quick and immediate, especially, of course, towards the front of the pack. 25 points for the win. Is it 20 for second?
Correct.
So immediately a 10-point swing should Warren get the job done on Job.
Yeah, I will read the points out for you very quickly, so prepare yourself. This is 1st through 12th. It's 25 for 1st, 20 for 2nd, then 16, 13, 10, 8, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0 for 12th position. If you were able to write that down as I said it, well done. I cannot write that fast. Sebastian Joe's built out nearly 3/4 of a second of a lead there at the front of the field, so he's starting to kind of turn the speed up maybe a little bit here as he's able to pull away from the Porsche Coanda behind, which is giving this driver here, Luke Bennett, that extra little focus, that extra little assistance of slipstream to maybe go for the move here.
Yeah, the team dynamic is so interesting here because obviously the Porsche here in second is now under attack. He's having to go defensive. This is going to open up the gap even more to Sebastian in the lead. So Sebastian's going to he's going to gain a couple of seconds here, a couple of tenths here through turn 1, and yeah, indeed, the gap goes up to 8 tenths as the guys behind start fighting. So this is good news for Sebastian Job. Luke Bennett here effectively securing the race win here for his teammate just by battling Dane Warren.
Indeed. So Sebastian Job is looking for yet another victory. It would be his 32nd. He's 10 victories behind Joshua Rogers in the all-time stats. He will likely pass 100 races though this week as we head away through. This is his 93rd race. Is Sebastian Job. He will likely pass that 100 mark and be yet another driver to do so. We've now got 10 drivers that have passed 100. In fact, I think Dane Warren might be on his 100th race. I'll update you with that in a second. It's not really an irrelevant point, but still.
It looks like Porsche Coanda's point of attack now would probably be to try to get Caruso through into 3rd place. So of course, Dane Warren's dropped off at the back of Sebastian for the lead. But if he can help his teammate get through into 3rd, I mean, that's probably their best chance of increasing their point tally for the remainder of this race. 2 laps to go. Look at that gap increasing now to Sebastian, 1.1 seconds. He's not really going to be in the slipstream range any longer. You see, it immediately moves over to the right-hand side to try and break the toe and go defensive. So he's kind of already given up on the pursuit of Sebastian in the lead, and now the focus is on trying to get this 3rd place.
It is, by the way, a 100th race for Dane Warren. However, it's not going to be a 100th race that ends in victory, you'd have to say. 2 laps left to go, and the gap is 1.3 seconds. It looks like it's pretty much nailed on that Sebastian Job will take victory, but that does not mean that it's over. That does not mean that we're past the important bits. Jordan Caruso's move on Luke Bennett would be critical for Porsche Coanda. Luke Bennett getting past Dane Warren will be critical for Team Redline when it comes to their domination. They only get 4 races today, and it is really important for these teams to be in the top 3 of those teams for tomorrow, because they'll be in the upper bracket for tomorrow. We'll cover that off a little bit later on. Basically, you need to be in the top 3, and if you're just looking to survive, you can't be 6th.
Here's Josh Rogers on the attack against Jeffrey Rootveld for 8th place, up the inside into the hairpin. Is he going to be able to get this job done? As we've seen a few times before, it's quite difficult to get ahead and secure the position fully. Otherwise, you kind of end up side-by-side battle for a couple of corners. So this is another point of attack. Of course, Redline know, Porsche Commander know that Redline are probably their biggest opponents, certainly in this race so far. And so any time you can attack and overtake a Redline car gives you more points and gives them less points. So this is going to be a crucial one here. Into turn one for the final time. Let's see what's going to happen here.
Yeah, there was a bit of weaving coming in from Dane Warren, trying to keep Luke Bennett behind. That's absolutely fine. It's you get a penalty if it's a reactionary move in the braking zone, or if you're switching too many times actually in that defence. He's just trying to break the slipstream. The mirrors were being filled there as Luke Bennett was trying to get to the inside. Incredibly close, second, third and fourth. The race winner is checked out. Here we go, down the inside. Joshua Rogers trying to salvage some good points here, and he does manage to clear Jeff Rieveld.
Yeah, really nice move. Just up the inside, just didn't overbrake. We saw that a couple of times earlier. People going up the inside and braking a little bit too late, going deep, giving your opponent the chance for the cutback. There, just Joshua Rogers, just really smart, holding the inside line, parking on the apex, and Rieveld there, no opportunity to reply.
Yes, indeed. Again, superb stuff at the moment between this group. I believe we're getting some we could be getting some pretty close points between us. I'll update you with that in a few moments' time. But Sebastian Jobe is the one who is currently in the prime position at the moment to take this victory. Can there be a move here though from Bennett?
I really think Warren here kind of needs to just back him up a little bit more. Just put it on the apex really slow and back him up into Caruso. Is he going to go defensive here? The final corner of the race. Sebastian Jobe, fantastic performance. He's surely going to win this one now. But can Caruso get through into third?
Let's see. Sebastian Jobe then will come through the final corner to win once again on land. But most importantly for him, it is a first victory of 2025. The BMW M Team Red Bull Sim Racing driver will cross the line victorious by 2.5 seconds over Dane Warren. Luke Bennett and Jordan Caruso with a drag race to the line will cross over. But it is Redline on top for the first race. They will score 54 points to Porsche Commander's 45. Atlassian Williams Sim Racing just 9.
Yeah, I was really keen to see exactly how Williams would fare up against the top two seeds here, and on this evidence, not too good. They're going to have to do a much better job in their next couple of races.
Look, it was exciting. That was the thing. I mean, Porsche Commander, I thought through part of that maybe things weren't looking so great. The fact they did actually score relatively well, a decent recovery from Charlie Collins and from Josh Rogers. We can see the provisional race results. Sebastian Jobe, Dane Warren, Luke Bennett, Jordan Caruso, Kevin Siggy and Charlie Collins. So Redline and Porsche Commander switching their way through the top 6. Mercedes-AMG in 7th with Joshua Rogers in 8th.